The Boxing Day Test match, the fourth in the ongoing series between India and Australia, was the longest Test match in 2024. Going simultaneously with that India-Australia Test match were two other Test matches, one of them between South Africa and Pakistan. Before the match between India and Australia had ended, South Africa already beat Pakistan to qualify for the World Test Championship final. This caused a lot of angst as players from Australia and India recognize that only one of those two teams can qualify. As the status quo would have it, they expect that the World Test Championship finals should be between England, Australia, or India. That's what they want to have. As a result of South Africa qualifying for the finals, a lot of persons were hurting. Among them, the former Indian cricket captain and coach Ravi Sastry. As the hurt gripped his body, and as he was in great pain, he made a narrow-minded, short-sighted filler comment. He claimed that the Test cricket should be divided into two groups, with a Group A and a Group B, and those who can only win the World Test Championship are those in Group B. A. I have always wondered why cricket is the only sport that we always seem to want to limit the number of teams at the top. During that match in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, close to 374,000 spectators watched that match over the 5 days. It was an exciting Test match. It went right down to the last hour of the day's play, of the fifth day's play. And I said to myself, if West Indies, Pakistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Zimbabwe, if all of those teams can play at the level of India and Australia and India, when West Indies or Zimbabwe is playing in Australia, then probably we'll have another record crowd. When we're playing in Mumbai or Calcutta in India, if the team is strong, we will have a record crowd. So why is it therefore that some persons are trying to bring a divide in cricket instead of trying to bring up the lesser teams so we'll have more competition at the highest level? It is only in cricket that we have heard about teams being eliminated from the highest level. Every other sport wants to bring up more team to that higher level so that the magnitude and the intensity of the competition will increase. However, it is up to Cricket West Indies to bring West Indies up to a level that when we are playing at Sabina Park and Kensington Oval and at the Sir Vivian Richard Oval in Antigua and in St. Lucia and all of those cricket stadia in the West Indies, when we are playing test matches, if our cricket is of such a high standard, we will not need to worry about filling the ground. The reason why West Indies is not filling the ground is because the quality of the cricket is poor. Over the years, there have been many suggestions on how to improve West Indies cricket. What I'm about to recommend today, I first recommended on October 9th, 2023. There's nothing new. Even the Bible said it, there's nothing new under the sun. Oh, what I'm doing is just really repeating with some modification what I have said in October 2023. Now, this is a 3-part series. Today, I will look at the grassroots level. Sometime next week, I will look at what West Indies need to do immediately. And then, in the 3rd episode, I will look at the governance issue. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. If I had not greeted you New Year's already, a Happy New Year to you, and may God bless you throughout 2025, and that all your objectives will be realized at the end of the year. I look forward to your participation. Please slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button. Every year, for more than 100 years now, the week before Easter in Jamaica, thousands of persons from all over the world packed into the Jamaica National Stadium for Champs. Champs is a legacy in Jamaica. It's a world-class event as students from across high schools in Jamaica compete for the championship. What makes this event so attractive, such a high-quality, world-class event? As I said back in October 2023, the template that makes Champs the event that it is, Cricket West Indies can also follow that template. Not only can, but I think that they should. And in particular, the Jamaica Cricket Association, I would love to see them following the template that make Champs such a world-class event, such a legacy event, that every year, thousands of persons pack into the National Stadium for over 100 years to witness this event. Therefore, Cricket West Indies must implement a system, structure, and organization dynamics similar to Jamaica world-class track and field product, Champs. Many of you who are not living in Jamaica do not understand that Champs has its genesis at the basic school level in Jamaica. Children at the basic school level participate in their own championship. They participate in their own sports day when they compete with intensity. That goes on to the primary level and then goes on to what we call Champs. Now, how did Jamaica get there? How did Jamaica create this world-class product? And Cricket West Indies should also be following this template to create this world-class product. The first thing, the very first step is training of coaches. Yes, training of coaches. GC Foster College of Sports in Jamaica trained a large number of the coaches that participate in the basic school in the primary school and the high school. They have a good program there of training track and field coaches. They do train cricket coaches also. Fritz Harris, the vice president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, had said that the Jamaica Cricket Association and GC Foster College have a memorandum of understanding to train cricket coaches. That's what the vice president of the JC had said. As someone who is on the ground, who have traveled around to many primary schools and introduced cricket to these children, when I come across these physical education teachers who are supposed to be training cricket, Dave Cameron was right when he said that our physical education teachers do not know much about cricket. The most some of these physical education teachers can do is to score the book. And that is from my personal experience. They have no clue about cricket. And I wonder how they qualify as physical education teachers when all they can do is score the book. Dave Cameron was right when he said that our physical education teachers do not know anything about cricket. So, despite the memorandum of understanding at GC Foster College, there must be a greater effort to produce cricket coaches at GC Foster College. The next thing that I think should be done to train cricket coaches is that before a regional contract is issued every year to these players that have been contracted, the regional players, you might pose a difficulty at this time to getting the players that are contracted by Cricket West Indies to do so. But at the regional level, in Jamaica, for example, every player, before they have given that regional contract, should be invited to a meeting. They should be discussed what is expected of them if they decided to take the contract. And one of the things that those regional players must be prepared to do is that by the end of October, or by the latest, the end of November, each and every one of them with a regional contract must have a ICC Level 2 coaching certificate. That must be one of the stipulations to getting a regional contract as a player. That by the time November, the end of November, the latest, preferably the end of October, each player must have an ICC Level 2 coaching certification. The third factor of the training is that you, each and every one of you who are listening to me, can go online and complete free of cost the ICC Foundation coaching course and the ICC Level 1 cricket coaching certificate. Yes, each and every one of you listening to me can go online and complete this coaching certification process. The basic foundation level and the Level 1 level. So the first step to improve West Indies cricket, there must be training of coaches, and you can be a part of that. While institutions like GC Foster College of Sport must produce better cricket coaches, and while I advocate for each player with a regional contract should complete a Level 2, a high CC Level 2 train coaching certification by November, you also can go online and complete the foundation course and the level 1 course. The second thing that needs to be done, so training is number 1. The second thing that needs to be done is that we must introduce cricket to basic and primary school children and organize competition among them. That's the second thing need to be done. Training is the first, but the second thing need to be done is that we must introduce cricket to basic school children, primary school children, and organize competition to maintain the intensity. Just like how the track and field program organized competition to maintain the intensity, the basic schools champs, the primary schools champs, is the same way we need to do in cricket. 1, we must use these contracted players. So another part of the obligations that these contracted players will have, apart from becoming certified, is that every Friday, they should be going into the primary schools and the basic schools to introduce cricket. Yes, that should also be one part of their obligation. Those contracted players may be used as part of the effort to introduce cricket in primary schools. Just like me, I would have gone into primary school and introduced cricket to students. Another thing that I hope that will be done to introduce cricket to our primary and basic school students, the government of Jamaica, and I am in no position to tell the government of Jamaica how to spend their money, but I'm humbly suggesting that the $100 million that have been announced in the budget to go towards cricket, that this will be used to employ some coaches to go into our basic schools and our primary schools. Let's say a portion of it should be used to employ coaches to go into our basic schools and our primary schools to introduce cricket and to organize competition to maintain the intensity and the love for the game. I think that a portion of that money should be used to employ cricket coaches all over the island, at least 14, preferably 16, but I said at least 14 that I think should be done to improve, to introduce the cricket into our primary school and our all-age school. I think that should be done. Another thing that I think should be done, it appears that I've lost my camera there. Sorry about that. It appears I lost the camera. Where's the camera? I do not understand where the camera is. So sorry about that. I didn't realize that I had lost the camera there. So the next thing that needs to be done, yes, CWI should allocate $1 million to the Intersecondary School Sport Association in Jamaica for the development of cricket. Now, this money should go to 50 schools in Jamaica, high schools in Jamaica. A portion of the $1 million should go towards the coaches to coach in 50 high schools in Jamaica. Now, these 50 high schools that have these coaches, the coaches will not only be responsible for coaching the high school, but they will be responsible for coaching at least 8 primary schools closest to them. So one day, every 2 weeks, these coaches will go to the primary school. So they will allocate 1 day every 2 weeks for one of the 8 primary schools. So these primary schools will see them 1 day every 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, they would have touched all 8 schools. And so a portion of that money. Because just like how we have track and field and football youngsters from all over the Caribbean coming to Jamaica to participate in the Da Costa Cup and the Manning Cup and to take part in champs, I think in Jamaica, we can also establish a similar program that will come across in the same way as champs. Because already we have the template in Jamaica. And so students from all over the Caribbean will be coming to schools in Jamaica. So this $1 million will not only benefit Jamaican students, it will also benefit students from all over the Caribbean. We may even have to employ coaches from other sections of the Caribbean. So 1, training of coaches. 2, introduce cricket to primary and basic school children. 3, CWI should allocate $1 million to the Inter-Secondary School Sport Association to try and develop a program along the lines of champs. The next thing that needs to be done is volunteerism. Champs as it is. And when you see that wonderful program, Champs, it is due to volunteerism. Despite the big money sponsorship, it is down to volunteerism that makes Champs what it is. The cricket in the West Indies will not grow unless more of us start to volunteer our time to introduce cricket to the youngsters. Unless more of us start to volunteer our time to be in administration, unless more of us start to volunteer our time and become a part of it, and so our voice can be heard, our skills and our time will be a part of it. The cricket in the West Indies, despite all the effort that CWI will make, the JCA will make, and the other regional boards will make, without volunteerism, it will not grow to a level to compete with Australia and India and England and Pax Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval, the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, the Sir Vivian Richard Oval, Warner Park. It will not grow to the level to pack those venues in Test cricket unless we volunteer. There are so many benefits from volunteerism. One of the greatest joy for me when I volunteer is to see, after going to a school and introducing cricket, some of them would have already have an idea of cricket and would have been playing cricket. Is that by the next time you reach back to that school, those students would have made bats from every conceivable material. Some would have their plastic bats. Some would have their bats from tree trunks. Some would have their bats from plastics. You know, they make bats from every conceivable material. And it brings such great joy to your heart when you realize that these students love the game of cricket. They just need to be taught it. So it is great fun volunteering. Another benefit of volunteering, especially in the primary school, is the joy that you see on these children's face when they are playing the game. It is pure joy. So is the undiluted love that you receive from these children. Yes, undiluted, unconditional love, because these children love you so much from you teaching them again. It's sure many, many benefits to volunteer, and the cricket will not grow. Also, the next thing that need to be done, because after the students introduced to cricket at the basic school level, and they start playing it at the primary school level, and then to the high school level, then there must be another outlet. One of the driving factor behind champs, because not many of the students will go on to be world class. Less than 1% of the students who take parts in champs go on to be world class athletes. So there are two other things need to be done. A memorandum of understanding with tertiary institutions to provide scholarship for cricketers. Naturally, certain criteria and certain standard would have to be met. But of all the cricketers, of all the children that you'll be introducing cricket to, less than 1% of them will go on to be world class, will go on to represent the West Indies and to get T20 franchise contract. It's the same thing in track and field. Despite the thousands of children that compete at champs each year, less than 1% of them go on to be professional track and field participants. The outlet for them is that champs provide a avenue for them to go to universities in the United States. It provides a avenue for the majority of them to make a life outside of track and field, but using track and field as a foundation for their matriculation. A large number, the vast majority of these children are from very poor background, and they use track and field as an outlet. They know the higher the standard of the performances, the greater the chances of them getting a scholarship. So these students go on to universities in Jamaica, where there's also a strong track and field culture among tertiary institutions. Yes, so it's not only at the high school level that the culture is strong, but also at the tertiary level. And they get scholarship not only to go to tertiary institutions in Jamaica, but they also get scholarships to go to universities in the United States. So they know that most of them will not be able to represent Jamaica. They know, however, that there's an opportunity to change their life through track and field. Cricket West Indies, the JCA, and the other regional bodies must recognize and provide this opportunity by working with the universities to create that avenue for when they leave high school, even if they do not go on to represent their regional territory, there is an avenue for them which cricket provide them to a higher level of education. Therefore, the universities must come on board, and especially in the United States of America, Cricket West Indies must engage with the universities in the USA to get them to start playing cricket. That is key, in my opinion, is key to the content for West Indies cricket to improve. I have rambled on long enough. Now let me hear your comment. So here is Yvonne Johnson. Thank you, Yvonne Johnson. She's the spiritual leader of the community. And so Good morning to you, Known Rider. Good morning to you, Patrick Lambert. Good morning to you, Merrick. Have a good, really appreciate you being here. Happy New Year, Mrs. Brown. Thank you for wishing the community happy New Year. Envoy saying hello to Cricket Forum. Hello to you too, Envoy. Hope that you will win the World Test Championship final, although I know that will hurt a lot more people. Greg Kanai, good morning to you too. I appreciate you being here. Shoes Variety, good morning to you. He's saying that you are so correct. Everything has to start from basic. I agree. Yes, it has to start at the basic school level. Juna Benjamin is saying, yes, host, invest in the youth. We need to do that. Thank you all for tuning in. It's a pleasure being here. Rowan Perry, Happy New Year to you too. I look forward to see you tomorrow when we will again engage in another episode of The Takedown. Tomorrow morning, we will be talking about the most outstanding cricketer for the year in West Indies cricket. We will also be asking you to select your player of the year for West Indies cricket. It's 11:05 a.m. Jamaica time. See you then. We'll answer all your questions. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.